Hey guys, welcome to Smart Tips and Tricks. This week we're talking about the night sky and the different camera settings used to capture those beautiful images. So grab your camera, your headlamp, and let's go. So we've all seen the beautiful Milky Way shots, the northern lights, star trails, all that good stuff. But how in the world did they capture it in the middle of the night? Well, believe it or not, it's not that hard. It's a matter of knowing the right camera settings and having a clear sky. So let's dive right in. First, you're going to need a camera that allows you to adjust some settings manually, specifically the ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Now, if those terms don't mean anything to you, it's alright, don't leave yet. I'm going to give you a few settings that will be a solid place to start and let you dial them in from there. Now, just to be clear, I don't claim to be a professional photographer, and I certainly don't make a living selling photos of northern lights. So if you've got a different technique or you use different settings, hit us up in the comments below. These are just what have worked for me over the years and what I want to share with you. The first setting I mess with is the ISO, which is basically the sensitivity of the sensor or the camera's light gathering capability. I found an ISO of 1600 to work well for me. It lets enough light in, but doesn't add too much noise to the image. Next is the aperture. I like to run around an f4 to an f5.6. If you go much higher, the camera will be starving for light, but at the same time, if you go much lower, you'll be shrinking the window of what's in focus. Again, I'm not trying to get overly nerdy here, so for the purpose of this, let's just go with an f4. So that leaves us with shutter speed, and this is where the real magic happens. Shutter speed is shown as a fraction, and is a figure used to tell us how long the shutter is open for, or how fast it is, hence the name shutter speed. As we roll the shutter backwards, you lose the fraction, and the figure then becomes the number of seconds that the shutter is open for. This is crucial for taking pictures at night. I usually start around a 10-second exposure, and depending on the results from my test photo, I'll adjust accordingly. Now, an important part of this that I should have mentioned earlier is using a tripod. When you set a long exposure like this, the camera sensors open up for however many seconds you set it for, and it gathers everything you throw at it. So that means if the camera's moved or bumped or wiggled around at all, the image won't turn out the way you hoped. Case in point. So once you've got your test photo, it's a matter of messing with the settings to get the image the way you want. If your image is too dark still, you can lengthen your shutter speed to something like 15 or 20 seconds and vice versa. Now, if you want to take this a step further, you can set your camera to take a picture every, let's say 8 to 10 seconds and leave it overnight. The next morning, you're going to come out, you'll have 3, 4, 5, 600 photos. You'll merge all of these photos in post, and you'll be left with a time lapse that looks something like this. Well, that's all I got this week. Hopefully this serves as a starting point for your night sky photography. And if you're interested in taking this a step further, learning how to combine those photos into a time lapse, then drop a comment below and we'll get on it. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you.